My old manager, Diane, retired at 51. She drove a Toyota Corolla with 190,000 miles on it, and a crack in the bumper she never bothered to fix. She brought her lunch to work every day in the same dented metal tin, and she kept a laminated index card in her wallet that she'd pull out at the strangest moments. When I finally asked her how she'd walked out of a normal middle management job 2 decades early, she didn't say anything about stocks or side hustles or getting lucky. She slid that index card across the table. It had 5 small boxes drawn on it in pen. She said, "I was never disciplined. I just made it impossible to be undisciplined. These 5 accounts did the saving, so I didn't have to." I laughed. I thought she was oversimplifying to be humble. Then she walked me through what those 5 boxes actually do, and I realized the reason I'd been broke at 34 despite a decent salary wasn't a willpower problem. It was a plumbing problem. All my money lived in one account, and I was relying on my own self-control to do a job that self-control has never once done for anybody. If you want the actual mechanics of how money moves through a household that builds wealth on autopilot, not the pep talk, not the just budget better garbage, subscribe because this is the system. And the whole point of it is that it works even on the days you don't. Here's the idea that took me years to accept. You will never out-discipline a bad structure. The people who get rich quietly aren't grinding their teeth every month, choosing savings over fun. They built a setup where the money is gone, sorted, sent, working, before they ever get the chance to be weak. That's what these 5 accounts do. They force the outcome. Let me start with the one that breaks the whole problem at the root. Account 1 is the hub, and the rule is that nothing lives here. This is the account your paycheck lands in, and it is designed to be empty by the end of the week. Most people make the fatal mistake of letting their income pool in one big checking account, and then they spend out of that same pool. Diane called that swimming in your own paycheck. When all your money sits in one place, your brain reads the whole balance as available, and you will spend to the size of what you can see. Every dollar visible in your spending account is a dollar your impulses have already been given permission to take. The hub fixes this by being a sorting station, not a home. Money touches it for 24 hours and then gets automatically swept out to 4 other accounts the morning after payday. You set the transfers up once. After that, by the time you log in to check your balance, the money has already gone to its jobs. You're not deciding anything. The machine decided for you while you slept. That's the entire trick. You remove the moment of choice, because the moment of choice is where wealth goes to die. Account 2 is survival, and it holds exactly what your life costs to run. Rent or mortgage, utilities, insurance, minimum debt payments, groceries, the boring stuff that keeps the lights on. For most people, this should be somewhere around 50 to 60% of take-home pay. And here's the part nobody does. You calculate that number once, to the dollar, and you fund this account with precisely that and nothing more. Not a cushion, not a little extra to be safe, the exact number. Because the moment you pad your bills account just in case, that padding becomes invisible spending money. And invisible spending money is the single largest leak in the average household. Diane said the discipline of the system isn't in saving aggressively, it's in starving the accounts that don't build wealth, so they can't quietly eat the ones that do. Account 3 is the future, and this is the engine that does the actual getting rich. This is investing money, index funds, retirement accounts, the boring market exposure that compounds for decades. The rule is that money flows in automatically on payday, and it is never, under any circumstances, touched. Here's why automating this specific account matters more than any other. When you invest whatever's left at the end of the month, there's never anything left at the end of the month. That's not a character flaw. That's how every human being on earth behaves. But when the future account is funded first, automatically, before your spending account even sees the money, you invest consistently without ever feeling it. Let me show you what that does. Someone who automatically routes $600 a month into the market and never thinks about it again has invested over $7,000 a year. At the market's long-run average return, in 30 years, that quiet, boring automatic transfer becomes roughly $1.1 million. Of that, only about $216,000 is money they actually put in. The market built the other $900,000 on top. And the person didn't budget, didn't sacrifice consciously, didn't white-knuckle a single month. The account did it. That's what forces you rich actually means. It means the wealth gets built by a system you set up once, not by a willpower you have to summon 500 times. Account 4 is the cushion, and its only job is to stop emergencies from becoming catastrophes. This is liquid cash, sitting in a high-yield savings account, doing nothing exciting. It's the buffer between you and the moment life goes wrong. I know what some of you are thinking right now because I thought it too. You're thinking that splitting your money into 5 accounts, when you barely have enough for one, is a fantasy for people who already have money. I understand that objection completely. But the cushion is exactly what makes the system survivable for people who don't have money yet. Without it, the first surprise expense forces you to raid your future account, which kills the compounding, which resets you to zero. The cushion is what lets the engine run uninterrupted. You don't have to fill it overnight. A small automatic transfer every payday gets it there. But until it exists, every other account in the system is one flat tire away from collapsing. Account 5 is the one almost nobody has, and it's the one that keeps the whole machine from breaking, the guilt-free account. This is money you are allowed to blow. Dinner's out, the impulse buy, the weekend trip, the stupid thing you wanted. And I need you to understand this is not the soft, optional, feel-good part of the system. It's load-bearing. Diane was blunt about it. She said every financial system that demands total deprivation has a 100% failure rate. Because humans are not robots, and a plan you can't stand is a plan you'll quit. The guilt-free account is the pressure release valve. Because you're allowed to spend everything in it without an ounce of guilt, you stop binge spending out of the accounts that actually matter. The fun money protects the future money. The people who try to cut out every pleasure don't end up rich. They end up 2 months in, furious, and back to one chaotic account where everything bleeds together. Now let me show you the cost of not doing this. Because there's someone I think about a lot. A guy I worked with named Trevor made around $140,000 a year. Top 10% of earners in the country. One account. Everything in, everything out, all swimming together. He wasn't reckless. No gambling, no wild spending. Just a normal life paid for out of one big pool. And at 44, Trevor had about $40,000 saved on $140,000 a year. Meanwhile, Diane spent her whole career earning less than half what Trevor made, ran the 5 accounts the entire time, and retired at 51, free and clear. Ask yourself the question that made me put my own card together that same night. If you and Trevor both made the exact same money for the next 10 years, but he kept it in one account and you split it into 5 and automated it, which one of you is richer at the end? You already know. You knew before I finished the sentence. The difference was never income. The difference was that one of them relied on discipline and the other one built a structure that didn't require any. That's the part that should land. Trevor wasn't worse than Diane. He was just unprotected. His money had no jobs, so it had no destination. So it evaporated into 1,000 reasonable little choices that each made sense in the moment and added up to nothing in 3 decades. Every dollar without an assigned job is a dollar volunteering to disappear. So let me put the whole thing back together. 5 accounts, 1 machine. The hub holds nothing and sorts everything, so you never swim in your own paycheck. Survival holds the exact cost of your life and not a penny more, so it can't quietly grow into spending. The future is automated and untouchable, so the compounding never gets interrupted by a human being having a weak moment. The cushion absorbs the emergencies, so a flat tire never resets your entire life. And the guilt-free account gives your impulses a legal place to play, so they stop raiding the accounts that build your freedom. Set it up once, let it run. You get rich not because you became a more disciplined person, but because you finally stopped needing to be one. Diane is 53 now. Same Corolla, same dented lunch tin, even though she has nowhere she has to be. Last I heard she was somewhere along the coast of Portugal with no return ticket, and that laminated index card is still in her wallet, soft at the corners from 20 years of being pulled out and put back. She built her entire freedom on 5 boxes drawn in pen, and the secret was never that she was stronger than the rest of us. She just refused to leave her future up to her own willpower. And willpower is the one thing that's failed every single person who ever depended on it. Tell me in the comments which of these 5 accounts you're missing right now. Be honest, I read every one. And if you want to see exactly how I set up the automatic transfers so this whole thing runs without me ever touching it, that video's right here. I'll see you in the next one.